Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Hype me up. Hype me up. Oh, yeah. What's good? Let's get it. Let's get it. Somebody said hello, Kenneth. I like that. You know, I remember my dad and mom used to call me Kenneth. I haven't been called that in a long time, but hello, how are you? All right, KJ Walton. All right, y'all, get on in here. This is day 3 for me. Day 3 in the building. Day 3. All right, your husband named Kenneth. All right, cool dude then. All right. I know when I was young, everybody called me Kenneth, and then when I was little, and then when I went to high school, they called me Kenny. And then when I went to college, they called me Ken. So now I'm Coach Ken. Welcome, everybody. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. I, oh my, Coach Ken. Oh, thank you, Tanya. Appreciate you. I love you too. I, oh no, you said my husband Kenny, he no good though, Coach. Oh man, I'm trying to, but I'm good. I'm good now. I'm a good husband and a good father. And so, maybe he want to be good one day. Maybe if you take my coaching, I've had people who take my coaching and they change their relationship. Um, hey, you missed me on the big screen. We coming back. October, October 21st. We back, I think it is. I think it's October 21st. We back for a new season. Unfaithful, caught in the act. All right. Yeah, new season back in the building. All right, y'all. All right. So first off, from Brazil, thank you. Is that Fatima? Good. I don't know what that means, but thank you so much. Yeah, because other people ain't cutting it for me. You know what? Let's be nice. Let's be nice. Let's be nice now. All right, let's be nice. All right, but that's another show, um, and they filmed by the same company. Little similarities to what we do, but let's be nice. All right, y'all. So look. Tonight, if you have watched me the last 2 nights, so I went back and watched the last 2 nights. And y'all, I brought some fire the last 2 nights. The last 2 nights, I talked about the 50 laws of love that I created 4 years ago. And I said that I teach them to my clients. And I give them, but one of the reasons I decided to teach them live is because recently one of my clients just got in a serious relationship, and she took me back to when we first started. When you first get together, when she first called me in stress, distressed, and I told her back then, I said, listen, I said, I can help any relationship work, any relationship, couples, anything. But there are 2 components that are necessary. Number 1, both people have to want the relationship to work. Okay, both people have to want it to work. And number 2, both people have to be willing to do the work to make it work. If those two things are in place, I can restore or repair almost any relationship. You see, because the relationships that don't work, either both parties or one of the parties does not want to fix it, or one or both of the parties are unwilling to do the work necessary to fix it. And so I can fix almost anything. God has gifted me. You know how everybody got a gift? You know, everybody got God gifted everybody. Everybody got a gift. Everybody got a talent. You know, God has gifted me with this talent. You know, besides the fact that I'm persuasive, I can speak, I can do those things. But the reality is God has gifted me to restore relationships. And I give you an example. Me and my wife, where we had a conversation today, and it was really good because we had been having some disagreements about some things. And the one thing that I know, and I'm gonna be transparent with y'all, that the enemy is going to try to attack my relationships because I am helping people in their relationships. And I explained to my wife today that both of us were seeing things a little bit differently. But what I did was, I said, baby, I've got to use the strategies that I teach people. And when we began to discuss it the way that, I teach people, all of a sudden the communication took a turn for the better. And we began to discuss it, and both of us began to share our feelings. Because the truth of the matter is, when people get upset, they look at the other person as though they're the enemy. And so I was telling my wife, you are not my enemy, and I am not your enemy. So what we have to do is communicate better. And at the end of the day, when we were done with it, both of us felt good. And I said to her what I said to everybody else. Everything always boils down to communication. The reason why I am the communications expert that I am, y'all, doesn't mean that I'm going to be exempt from challenges, but it does mean that I know how to navigate out of it. And most of you who listen to me don't know how to navigate out of it. And so that is the reason why I teach you the way that I teach you. And so I always say, don't come to my class unless you have your notes and get ready. And so for the past 2 days, this is day 3, y'all. And because I'm not filming, because I'm not coaching at night at 9, my time, I decided to coach y'all. Okay. And so I meet with my clients in the day, my academy runs, and I said, let me, while I can, let me coach. So this is day 3. I created this manifesto, if you will, this blueprint called the 50 Laws of Love. And thank you, Center Stage. I appreciate you too. And the 50 Laws of Love, I created it about 4 years ago, and it helped. One of my clients reminded me of it on Monday. And she said, you remember when we first started and you gave me that blueprint of 50 Laws of Love? And she was like, I didn't really want to hear it at first. But I bought into it. I bought into what you were saying because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired in my relationship. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of attracting the wrong people. And so I had to do something different. And so now that she in a serious relationship, she all scared and everything. Girl, stop it. Ain't this what you wanted? She said, yeah, but ain't nobody treat me like this. I said, be present. And then now I'm teaching her how to be present in it. Y'all, remember this. Don't ever forget what Coach about to tell you. When you solve one problem, you create 5 more. Wow. And let me give you the example. See, some people come to me because they want to date, find the love of their life. Well, once they find the love of their life, they solve that problem. But then they just created 5 more problems because now you're in a relationship. Now you have to deal with the challenges of the relationship. And so now there's still a need for your coach. You know what? Somebody else said that. I think Myron Golden said, he said, when you solve a problem, you create 10 more. I said 5 more. But that's the reality, y'all. So tonight, I'm going to do day 3 of the 50 laws of love. But before I do that, I'd like for you to give me your name. You know how we start, y'all. Tell me your first name and where you're checking in from so that I can properly welcome you, because you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me tonight. And so, y'all, those of you who follow me know that my goal, I believe in love. I believe. What happened to your show with Tammy? Show coming back on? We got to get a break on it. The show coming back. October 21st, new season. Tammy Roman and Coach Ken Canion in the building. Mark Widette, and from Maryland, I think that's it. We got Lillian from Fort Worth, Texas. Stacy from Mississippi in the building. Pam from New York. Thank you, Pam. Center stage in the building. McQuinn. Yes. Oh, yeah. Meet G. What's up, Meet G Burrow in the building. Anjali from Ohio. Tamacia from Atlanta. Been here from the jump. You always been here. Is that Sadai from Orlando? We got Jen from Gary, Indiana in the building. Thank you so much for being here. Letty from California. Hey, Letty. Thank you for being here. SC3563, don't know your name, but you're from Brooklyn, New York in the building. All right, who we got? Empress, Miami, Florida in the building. Okay, Miami, Hollywood, Florida. Okay. Wanda from Las Vegas in the building. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me tonight. And if there's anybody, I always know it takes the people from YouTube and Facebook a long time to comment because they don't comment right away. Kim Stevens. Is that the Kim Stevens that I know? Falcon fan like me? Is that Kim? Let me know who went to school with me. Jatan from Naperville, Illinois in the building. Jewel from Pittsburgh. What up, Kim? Hey, what about our birds? They won last week. Hey, I'm going to reach out to you this week. I'm going to the game in St. Carolina. All right. Who else we got in the building? All right, in the building. All right, y'all. So thank you for joining me. For those of you who know, I got all of my platforms up. Lady T, appreciate you. I'm gonna bring it tonight. I rise up. Okay, Mercedes, rise up. I got a couple Falcon fans. Y'all, we're gonna be good this year. We just gotta avoid those injuries. Our defense finally looking up. All right, y'all. So tonight we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. Thank y'all for joining me. For those of you who don't know, I got all my platforms up. I got YouTube, Facebook. What's up, Cherie? And then we got Facebook, YouTube. We got TikTok, and we got Instagram up, y'all. And so you might see my eyes look around. That's because I got this set up kind of cool where I got all of my people up. All right. So, like I said before, the last 2 days, I've talked about the 50. Hey, Trillis. Trillis, one of my students, y'all. Hey, good to see you. So, I've talked about the 50 laws of love. And as I said, I did these years ago. But sometimes, y'all, we just need to revisit the basics. And when I created this, I created it for women and men. A lot of them are women. Most of them are universal for men and women, but some of them are geared directly for women. And I have a few that are directly for men. But these laws of love actually give you a blueprint of how to understand modern day relationships. Because people say things about modern day relationships, like they say things like the dating pool is full of piss, and they say things like there are no good men out there or no good women out there. And the truth of the matter is that's not true. You just haven't found your person. Or if you're in a relationship, most people don't do the work to make it better. Think about it, y'all. If we don't do any work on our bodies, it's not like they get better. It's not like, we get more muscular, we get burn more body fat. If we don't do any work, it doesn't happen. And I was telling one of my students something the other day, and she said, "Wow, that is so profound." And I said, "It is important. You have to do work on your relationship. You have to. Because if you don't, your relationship is going to wither. It is going to disintegrate." And I said, and I used the example. I said, I want you to take a car, sit it in your driveway, and come back to that car in 3 to 5 years. And you say, and not drive it, don't touch it, don't do anything. A brand new car. That car will begin to deteriorate. And you ever notice somebody leave a car and it don't crank, it don't do it, none of because the mere elements will begin acting against the car. Even because the car is doing nothing but simply being idle. It's just like your relationship. If you don't do anything, the elements around you will deteriorate your relationship. Y'all ever notice how some relationships you in, y'all stop doing what you used to do? You stop going out. You stop putting time into the relationship, and the relationship begin to deteriorate. Okay? Y'all, and so most people think if they don't do anything, that the relationship will at least, they think at the very least, it will stay the same. And that is not true. It doesn't stay the same. What it does is it begins the deterioration process. And so when I teach people how to be in a relationship, and so even in my relationship, y'all, if I don't do the things, and I have a good relationship, I got a good relationship, y'all. But if I don't do the things like me and my wife had these disagreements the last couple of days, if I would not have first known how to approach her, number two, known how to communicate in a way that is effective for her, it would have just continued to build and build and build. And both of us standing on our side, thinking we're right. And next thing you do, the resentment grows, frustration grows, turns into anger, turns into resentment, turns into disconnection. Y'all, this is the way that it works. And you say things like, well, I just ain't gonna say nothing. Let them do what they do, forget it. But you ever notice you ever notice when you don't say anything, what happens? And me and my wife talked about this today. When you don't say anything, there is an emotional buildup in you. There is an emotional buildup in you. And this emotional buildup, even though the other person doesn't see it, it begins to combust. It begins to grow. And what happens, it leads to more resentment. Hey, Brenda, good to see you, Brenda. Good to see you. All right, but y'all, and so what I'm saying is, if you're unwilling to work on yourself, work on your relationship, it is going to deteriorate, period. Nothing just stays the same. I'm sorry, okay? And so that's why I did the 50 laws of love. And if you have not seen them, I need you, other than TikTok, everywhere else, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you can go back and watch the last 2 days. And I've given you 5 laws per day. And I'm gonna give you 5 laws today. So we will end up on number 16 after it gets where we are. All right. Oh, was that Marcia? She had a question. She says, why does relationship change after the woman becomes pregnant and the baby comes into the picture? A lot of reasons. And so without knowing your situation, but so I want you to think about something for a minute, Marcia. Um, Imagine this, and we're not talking about right or wrong. So I don't want you to get right or wrong. I want you to understand psychology and human behavior. When the baby comes, first off, the husband used to get all the attention, right? Used to get all the attention, was the center of the focus. And now the baby comes. Now the husband, you got the baby, the husband's world changed, just like your world did, okay? Because you asked me the question, why does a man change? And even though the man realizes that's his child, that is his baby, their new life, he has to adjust psychologically to the idea that I'm no longer getting attention. I'm no longer getting sex. I'm no longer mattering. And you got to understand, even though he does matter, if he grew up and there is trauma where he feels like he was never a priority or abandoned, that could trigger those wounds. And so, without knowing your situation, without knowing it, I just want you to understand that there are a multitude of reasons why, but that could very well be one of them. All right. So let's jump right in to number 11 of the, if y'all don't believe I made these, I did these right here. I just want to show you the paper right here. And I just pulled them out because I went back and I was like, y'all, I got so much content out there. I got so much content, y'all. I went back in my archives. Went back in my archives. And I was like, I got thousands of hours of content that I've done, that I've taught. And so when I come on here, I don't mind teaching it for free. I don't mind. I love it. And so if you're interested, Marcia, if you're interested, is it Macia or Marcia? I'm not sure. But if you're interested, reach out to me. Maybe I can help y'all. I'm sure I can, but maybe if you remember what I said, if you guys, there are two things I can restore any relationship. Number one, both parties have to want the relationship. And number two, both parties have to be willing to do the work to make it work. And then maybe you reach out to me at Coach Ken Canion at Gmail, and then maybe have a 15-minute conversation to see if it's right for you. All right, Cherie says, I'm in the dating phase of my life. Is it bad that I lose interest in a man the moment he says I'm not chasing a woman? Well, is it bad, Cherie? First off, the reason you lose interest, let me go psychological with you. It's not because he says, I'm not chasing a woman. It is the meaning that you attach to that phrase. What you attach to the phrase is a man is not going to make you a priority the way you want to. So psychologically, what you believe is if he is not going to make me a priority, I will not be a priority. And then that holds some position of pain for you. There's a place of pain in your mind where what happens or what has happened in the past where a man has not made you a priority or prioritized his relationship with you. So when you hear the phrase, I'm not chasing a woman, the phrase simply represents something to you that creates pain or trauma, or reminds you of pain or trauma. That's my take without knowing everything, but I ain't normally wrong, y'all. I'm the coach because I'm smart as hell. I tell y'all this all the time. Let's get right into it. Number 11 for the 50 laws of love. Okay, this is number 11. If a man, and listen to what I'm about to say, if a man isn't willing to put a title on you or your relationship, he is not willing to take ownership of the relationship. Ooh-wee, coach. Now listen, let me clarify this though. If a man, let me rephrase it. If a man isn't willing to put a title on you or the relationship, He isn't willing to take ownership of the relationship. Let me explain to you what I mean. See, when I say take ownership of it, see what a lot of people, they just want a title. I'm not even talking about the title. I'm talking about taking ownership of what it means. See, when I take ownership of the relationship, I am responsible for what happens in it. You see, most, and this is women too, not just men. This is women and men. A lot of people want the title without the ownership. You see, the ownership says that I am willing to be responsible for my partner's feelings. I'm willing to be responsible for the damage that I cause to my partner and not say, just get over it. And not say, well, this just me. And I'm responsible for the communication, the way that I talk to him or the way that I talk to her. You see, I am taking accountability means I'm responsible. And if a man is not willing, or a woman, but if he's not willing to put a title on it, he's not willing to take ownership of it. You see, you only take ownership of something when you become responsible for that thing. Like my dog. I love the little dude. But when I purchased the dog, I took ownership of him. Because and what I did when I took ownership, I said I am going to accept the responsibility of getting him his shots. I'm going to accept the responsibility of getting him groomed. I'm going to accept the responsibility of feeding him every single day, letting him go outside, walking him, exercise, playing with him, everything that goes with it. But what we want a lot of time is just the title of it. We just want the title of a relationship. But we don't want the ownership of the relationship, because the ownership of the relationship is when I have to take responsibility for it. When you own a home, see, everybody want to own a home. Everybody want to own a home until you have to take responsibility when something happened to the home, when you got to keep the grass cut, when a tree fall on my fence and I got to get the whole fence that side replaced. Okay, when I had to get my when it begins to deteriorate during COVID, I did renovation. I had to take responsibility of the home, the new paint job, the new hood over the stove. I said the new appliances. I had to take responsibility because I own it. Because me and my wife, when you own something, you take responsibility of the ownership. Most of y'all just want the title of it. You want the title of it without the ownership. And the ownership requires the responsibility of it. Ooh. I told somebody recently, they said, I want a relationship. I said, well, are you willing to deal with the other person's feelings? Are you willing to deal with the other person's the emotions that come with them? Are you willing to take ownership that I am responsible? Once I accept you, I am responsible to deal with everything that comes with you. That includes the trauma, that includes the triggers, that includes the feeling that comes, includes everything. If you don't want some of it, put it all back, send it all back, because you either take it all or you don't take any of it. See, that's the thing, y'all. The thing is, we want the relationship. We want the title of the relationship. We want the title without the ownership of the relationship. You know, and see, ownership brings responsibility. I was just thinking the other day. I was thinking about my house, right? And I was thinking about my wife asked me, hey, can we get a sauna to go out back on the deck that I just put up a new deck a couple years ago after COVID. And she was like, I want a sauna. And I began thinking about that, y'all. And I began thinking about it. And I was like, you want what? A sauna? I ain't buying no sauna. And I began to think about it. But the thing is, and I thought to myself, I said, Ken, I said, when you took ownership of your relationship, you took ownership of everything that she wants. Don't mean I'm going to get everything that she wants, but it simply means that because I own this relationship, any need that she needs met, I at least got to consider it. And what we do, men and women, both, what we do is discard the other person's needs and expectations because they're not mine. And you say, you know what? I don't have to deal with that. That means that you refuse to take ownership. And so, y'all, the first thing I want you to understand, that law number 11, and I wrote it down, was simply this. If a man isn't willing to put a title on you of your relationship, he isn't willing to take ownership of it. Ooh, coach, that is powerful. What's up, Allison? Hey, Allison. Allison says ownership brings responsibility. Absolutely. It requires responsibility. Ownership requires it. But a lot of us are unwilling to do that. Number 12. Number 12 of the 50 laws of love. Here it is. You must start, write this down. Start doing the things you would do if you already had the dream relationship. Now, notice what I said. You have to start doing the things you would do. I want to repray. I want to say it because I wrote it down, y'all. It says, start doing the things you would do if you had the dream relationship you wanted. Right. And so here's what I'm saying. And so one of the things I would tell people, I said, there is a principle called act as if. Act as if. And act as if works like this. So what would you be doing if your relationship was where it was, your dream relationship? Would you be communicating better? Would you be learning how to communicate better? Would you be yelling? No. But you yell now. Yeah, but you get mad now and you walk away and you don't talk for 3 days now. And so what happens is we are all energy. We are reflectors of energy. You see, the thing is, if you get mad all the time now, if you get angry all the time, you get triggered all the time, and you don't communicate with respect now, that is not conducive to the type of relationship that you want. So here's the thing. I always tell people, act as if. If you had the dream relationship you wanted, what would you be doing? Would you be learning how to communicate better? Would you be learning how to resolve conflict better? Would you be spending time with the other person? Would you be honoring yourself? That's why I always say self-care. Don't wait till you get in a relationship to take care of yourself. Don't wait till you get in a relationship. Act as if, because the acting as if attracts, manifests the thing that you actually desire. Let me give you an example of me. So I remember, y'all, I remembered about 5 years ago, during COVID, about 5 years ago, I remember when I first went live. And I remembered that I remember my first live. Teresa, I'm gonna tell you what Teresa said, one of my students, in a minute. But I remember I had one person on the live. The first day that I went live, one person. And then I think somebody, you know how people click on, click off. I was just doing it on Facebook. And I thought to myself, I said, ain't nobody gonna listen to me. Then I said, no, forget that. I ain't say forget that. I done stopped cussing as much as I used to. But I said, F that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna act as if I got hundreds. I had friends on Facebook, but I had no TikTok page. I had, I think, 82 subscribers on YouTube, none of that. But I had to act as if I was gonna be on TV. because I said I'm gonna be on TV. I said it. And if you were ever in my academy, I let my academy people listen to an audio that I created 5.5 years ago, where I do this thing called manifestation, where I created a tape that I would listen to over and over again. And on this tape, I talked about, Teresa, you heard it. Teresa heard it. Where I was talking about I was going to have a TV show. Where I talked about I was going to have high-paying clients. Where I talked about all of the people that would be attracted to me. That I would have a team of people putting out content. Teresa, you remember when I let y'all see it. And what happened was, what's up, William the Baddest? And y'all, everything in that audio has manifested. Everything. And so so what I believe is, y'all, and this is my belief, I believe we have the power to speak that which we want. The Bible talks about it. Y'all don't know what your beliefs are. All I'm saying, it says believe, it says speak, believe, or receive. And so what we don't do, y'all, we don't believe, we don't have the believe part. And so here's the thing, y'all. Let me give you the psychological part of it. You actually don't have to believe it. All you have to do is speak it and act as though you believe it. Do the things like you believe it, because motion creates emotion. The more you do it, the more the belief comes behind it. And so that's what I wanted to say. Teresa was one of my clients, y'all, is one of my students, is right now one of my students. And when Teresa came to me over 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years now, Teresa said to me, I'm tired, coach, of being the same way, getting the same results. And I told her, I said, Teresa, I want you to act as if. I'm going to teach you how to communicate. I'm going to teach you how to do the things that you do. Well, she ended up saying, you know what? I'm tired of getting the results. I'm going to do it. Well, she got married. And I remember talking to Teresa. Teresa, I'm just telling them what me. I ain't gonna tell them all your business, but I'm gonna just tell. I remember Teresa called me one day, and she was crying. And I asked her, I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "I'm scared because I ain't never had nobody treat me like this." And I said, "But you've done the work. Walk in it. Walk in the thing that you deserve because you've done the work." Okay, that's it. As I say, walk in it. That's all I was saying. All right. Where am I? All right. Number 12, number 13. Ooh, number 13 is good. You have to grow into the person who can have the mate and relationship you desire. You have to grow into that person. What I mean by that is, y'all, as I told you before, we have to become the person. So think about it like this. If I wanted to be a millionaire, right? If I wanted to be a millionaire, I have to grow into the person, evolve into the person who can handle $1 million, who can have $1 million. What's up, Rocky? You see, you have to grow, become. Notice what I said. You have to become the person who can have the thing that you want. Y'all, you see, this is the part about God people don't get. This is the part about God people don't get. And I can speak for God because I can see speak in my own life. I coach a lot of people. I'm on TV, I have a successful business, but I have a successful team. I am not where I want to be. I'm not. I tell everybody that. Every night, every morning I wake up. I'm thinking about ways I can grow and ways we can grow and take this message to a bigger place, right? And then I was asking God, I said, God, who do I need to become to have the thing that I desire? You see, y'all, let me tell you, can I be honest? Can we talk a little bit? Let me tell y'all what I want to be. I don't care about followers. I don't care about that. I want impact. I want to keep touching lives. I want to keep coaching people to their dreams. I want a platform that is bigger because of that. Not because I need more coaching clients, more money. I'm good. I don't care about that. I'm not money don't matter anymore, y'all. At the end of the day, when I leave here, what matters is whose life did I touch while I was here? Whose life was better? And so what I'm going to say is this. What I'm going to say is this. You have to become. See, write this down. God will never promote who he hasn't prepared. God will never promote who he hasn't prepared. And see, the reality is that most of us don't want the preparation. You see, the preparation stage is the stage that hurts. The preparation stage is the stage that is uncomfortable. The preparation stage is where you go through the fire. You see, a diamond, we like diamonds, right? But a diamond goes through hell to become a diamond. A diamond comes from the mantle of the earth, what they call the soot. It's graphite. It's like what is it? Carbon. It's carbon. And when the diamonds flow out of the lava up, they have to go through a process where they're heated up, where they and listen, y'all, think about this about a diamond. If a diamond is not heated up to a certain temperature, I think it's 900 and something degrees, it becomes carbon as opposed to a diamond. I know, right. So the heat is what perfects the diamond that you wear, that you attach the value to when it is given to you. And see, when the diamond is heated up, it is like when you go through the heat that God, see, y'all, most of us think that it's what's happened to us. But God is saying, listen, this is what happened for you, not to you. Everything that has happened to me was really what happened for me because I used every bit of it to help everybody else. The reason my relationship, we were headed for a divorce court many years ago, 16 years ago. But that experience helped me become Coach Ken because I realized that going through that, almost losing my best friend, almost losing my partner because there were things I didn't know. I didn't know how to communicate. I didn't know how to resolve conflict. Yeah, my parents were together, but the truth of the matter is I tried to solve it the way they solved it, but that didn't work. And that wasn't necessarily good. I had great parents. But y'all, we ain't never been taught. We've never been taught how to be better in relationships. We just go on what we were seeing. We just go on what our parents showed us. And a lot of times, because your parents showed you something, that shit don't mean it's right. Most of it was wrong anyway. They just got through it. But because they did it a certain way, does not mean that you can't do it different. Does not mean that you can't be better. My dad always told me, son, be better than me. And my dad was a great man, but he said, be better than me. And every time I think about the things that I've done in my life, and I've done a lot, y'all. I've written 10 books. I've been on TV 4 times. And now I'm on a hit show right now. And y'all, I got 1.4 million followers. I've done a lot. But I often say, Dad, are you proud of me? I hope I made you proud. And the thing that would make my daddy proud is not how many clients I had, but how many lives I've touched. When I think about it, that's the thing that would make him proud. And I say, Mama, am I giving enough like you gave? My mom used to take us to the shelter every Thursday to feed the homeless. And I say, Mama, am I giving enough? Do I give enough? So even when I'm tired, I get on here for free Not because I need more clients, but because I have to give to you. And the day is Thursday, the date that my mama used to take me to the shelter. And I used to say, Mama, why we got to go to the shelter every week? While she would cook, I said, those men are grown men. Why can't they take care of themselves? And Mama said to me, she said this, I'll never forget it, and I take it with me now. And anybody who's ever worked with me knows that I'm a giving person. And my mama used to say, you know what, son? One day you're gonna need some help. And God gonna send somebody to help you. And I've needed help in my life. And God has sent somebody to help me. So I don't give a damn. I don't care about no cars. I don't care about no houses. I don't give a damn about none of this stupid shit. People, I'm sorry, I just got to get that out, y'all. People online with 12 chains. I ain't knocking them, but who you helping? Whose life is different? How many chains will make you feel good about your existence? How many homes? Anyway, that's my time. All right. Number 14. Number 14, write this down. When your motivation to get in a great relationship remains extrinsic and never becomes intrinsic, the relationship won't last. Let me break that down. The reason you want to be in a relationship must be intrinsic, not extrinsic. And let me explain what that is. Extrinsic motivation is motivation that comes from outside of you, okay? Meaning, I want to have a big house because I want somebody else to notice it. I want to have it extrinsic. I want everybody to see me balling, whatever that is. I want everybody to see me in a relationship. That's extrinsic. Intrinsic is inside of you. Intrinsic motivation is something that drives you deeper. And if you want a good relationship because of an intrinsic, I want to share my life with somebody so that we can build something, so that we can grow and touch lives. You see, that in and of itself is intrinsic, because extrinsic will wear away. Extrinsic motivation will go away. Sometimes, y'all, you ever notice how when you start reaching a goal because you want to look better? You ever notice how, because I want to look better, I want to lose weight. And when it gets tough, what happens? You be like, well, forget all this. I ain't signed up for that. Well, that was extrinsic. Intrinsic is, no matter how much it hurts, I want to live a better quality of life, because my belief system is I want to be here for my children. I want to be here for my grandchildren so that I can leave a legacy for them. That's intrinsic for me. That's intrinsic. And if your motivation is extrinsic only, it ain't gonna last. Because he fine. Ooh, because he got a nice house. Extrinsic. Ooh, because, no, it ain't gonna work. Intrinsic. What is your belief system? Intrinsic. What are your core values? Intrinsic. Whose life do you want to touch because their life won't be better? Not because of what you have, what we see. Not because you got a 6-bedroom house. All of that stuff is okay, but it can't be just that. It can't be just that. And my last one, and I said I won't be on here this long, but my last and not least is this one. If you want to, write this one down, if you want to be seen differently, you must be willing to act differently. If you want to be seen differently, you must be willing to act differently. You see, a lot of us, y'all, yeah, I lost a lot of weight. I used to weigh 425 pounds. Absolutely. Yeah, I lost 170 some pounds. And so here's the thing. If you ever want to be seen differently, I'm going to give y'all something that I tell my leadership when I'm coaching leadership. I tell them this. I want y'all to write this down. People act towards you based on the perception they have about you. Oh, thank you, Bossy. Bossy said you look good. Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you. Now, write this down. People react towards you based on the perception they have about you. If people are acting a certain way towards you, that means they have a certain perception about you. Okay? A certain perception about you. You ever notice how y'all ever notice how to bully? You ever notice how to bullies don't bully another bully? Y'all ever notice that? You ever notice why bullies don't fight other bullies? They bully people that they have a perception that this person can be bullied, right? And so the thing is that if a person has a perception about you, they're going to act that way. Now, if you want people to start acting differently towards you, what you have to do is change their perception about you. I'll say it again. If you want people to act differently towards you, you have to change the perception they have about you. And you might say, well, Coach, how do I change the perception? I'm going to give it to you by changing your behavior. You see, let me give you the subconscious psychological stuff. Whenever I watch you behave, and if I see you behave a certain way from 5 to 7 instances, I've seen it, 5 to 7 interactions, if I've seen you operate a certain way, 5 to 7 actions, 7 times, 7 interactions, then I get conditioned to your behavior. Then I form a perception about you based on the behavior that I've seen. This is powerful. That is why in commercials, they say you have to have 7 impressions before people make a decision. What they're saying is 7 impressions, meaning I need to hear your message 7 times, 7 times, 7 times, because then I get conditioned to your message. Now, how many times have people seen you go off? How many times have people seen you? How many times have people seen you act a certain way and you ain't never changed it? And so what do? They perceive you in a certain way. If you want to change how people perceive you, then all you have to do is act differently. And so, y'all, and a lot of us, we don't know how. We ain't never been taught how. That's where I want to leave it here. A lot of you have never been taught how. I've been getting, ever since I've been doing these lives, I've been getting a lot of people reach out to me. And I've been doing this, y'all. This is my way of giving back. If you know that you want to change, if you know that you need to change, if you know that your life is not where you want it to be, if you want to become someone different, reach out to me at Coach Ken Canion at gmail.com. That's my name, Coach Ken Canion at Gmail. And just tell my team, hey, I'd like to talk to Coach for about 15 minutes. And then what I'll decide is best way to help you. But, a lot of times, y'all, we don't want to change because we realize that it's going to require us to become someone new. And so just remember this, y'all. The way God works is this. God will never promote who he hasn't prepared. And if you're not willing to go through the preparation stage, you can't have the thing that you want. You see, I couldn't be Coach Ken. I couldn't be Coach Ken unless I had gone through a trial in my life, in my relationship, which caused me to view the world differently, which caused me to view relationships differently. Had I not gone through that, had God not prepared me through the fire, I couldn't be talking to you tonight. So the Bible says, count it all joy. Count it all joy. The good, the bad, the ugly, because all of it is a way that you become who you're destined to become. All right, y'all, that's my time for tonight. That's it for tonight. Y'all, these last 3 days have been fire. And there's somebody listening to my voice. You know that you got to do something different. You know that you're supposed to do something different. Can't nobody do it for you. All right? So reach out if that's you at CoachKenCanion@gmail.com. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.